Hey, so let's face it, one of the best things about mobile phone photography is how much fun, mobile, and basically inexpensive and easy to do it is than big camera photography. So one of the cool things is it's a camera that's always with you, and at the moment's notice you can take some really cool shots. Well, one of the things that some people take advantage of with their mobile phone photography are accessories. And that's another cool thing about mobile phone photography, is that the accessories are oftentimes hundreds of dollars less expensive than if you were to buy equipment for big cameras like SLRs. So for instance, lenses on SLRs can cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for lenses. But they actually do make lenses for mobile phones, and that's what we're going to explore today. All right, and so today we're going to be looking at some mobile phone camera lens kits. And these kits can be found online, and we're going to be comparing them, in particular comparing the image quality of the lenses. This first lens we're going to be looking at is about $10, and I found it on Amazon. And this lens kind of clips on to either the front side or the back side, so you can use it on cameras. And it's a lens kit because it's got three lenses. It's got a macro lens, it's got a wide angle lens, and it's got a fisheye lens. So again, about $10, and we'll see what the quality of this is. It's sort of a generic, a lot of companies seem to make them, but they look exactly the same. The lens we're going to be comparing it against today is called the Olloclip, and this is what it looks like. The Olloclip lens is about $80, and it's got four lenses. It's got a wide-angle lens, it's got a fisheye lens, and it's also got two macro lenses, one 10 times and the other 15 times power. So we're going to take a look at the difference between these two lenses and the images that they produce, the $10 lens and the $80 lens, and see if there's really any differences between these. In either case, they should make taking photographs with mobile photography nice and fun, but we'll see if there's any image quality difference between the two. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a normal shot, and this is what we're going to use as sort of our index shot to find out what a picture would look like without any lenses on, so we can compare. And so that will be our normal shot. Then what I'm going to do is try this lens, the $10 lens first, and find out what kind of picture I can get with that. So what you do is you just clip it onto the back side of the phone here, and then I'll set it up and take a picture. One thing I notice is I have to kind of work to make sure that the lens is lined up, and I look from this side of the lens and make sure that the actual camera lens is lined up in the center of the accessory lens so that I can get a picture. But now that it looks like it's lined up, I'm going to go ahead and take a picture with the accessory lens, the wide angle. All right, and we can compare that. What we're going to be looking for in the picture is the quality of the picture. We can zoom in and see if there's any real difference between this lens and just the plain camera lens. Now what we're going to do is remove this one and then switch it to the other lens. The next lens we're using is the Olloclip, and this is the one that is specifically designed for this phone. Now they make them for all different kinds of phones, but you do have to buy it specifically for the phone you're going to use because of the casing. This one will fit the iPhone 6 or iPhone 6 Plus with a little adjustable bar that goes inside. However, if you have a different phone that this won't fit on, you'll have to buy the specific one. That's one advantage of that other clip, is that will fit universally just about any other phone. But right now what I'm going to do is get this ready and put this on the phone with the same picture in the background and take a picture with the Olloclip. One thing I noticed is the Olloclip goes on nice and easy. It clicks into place and there's not a whole lot of adjustment that needs to be done. So let's go ahead and take the same picture using the Olloclip. Now you'll notice that there's a lens on this side, but that's on the front-facing camera. But the lens I'm taking a picture with is actually on the back side, shooting of course that way. So let's go ahead and take the shot. All right, so let's take a look at the pictures and see how they are different and really scrutinize them to see if there's any difference between the wide angle of the sort of generic clip-on lens and the Olloclip lens. All right, so let's take a look at some of the pictures that we got from our little photo shoot there. On the screen right now, what you're seeing is the normal shot. So this is the shot with just the standard iPhone camera. One of the things that I'd like you to notice is we can always zoom in, and by going to the center of the picture, because sometimes the images that are on the left or the right side they get blurry, and you'll see that in just a little bit. But let's take a look at the center here. You'll see pretty sharp. You can see detail in the plants and the trees and the twigs and things like that. So that's at 100%. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first picture, and this first picture is done with the generic lens. So this is the generic lens, and now let's take a look at the Olloclip version. So these are both wide angle. Again, here's the standard and here's the generic. So as you can see, even between the standard and the generic, you can see more detail. Like right here, if you look on the left side, you can barely see that door, but as you go to the generic, you can see way past beyond that door. And the same with this tree over here, which is visible on the generic wide angle, and it's not even in the frame on the standard. So it does give you a wider field of view. But now let's take a look at the difference between the generic and the Olloclip. And you'll notice there's some slight difference, but I think it'll be more apparent if I zoom in once again. So let's zoom into that area right about here. Take a look at the detail in the grass and also at the bottom of these plants. And look at the difference between the generic and the Olloclip. The Olloclip is much crisper. There's a lot more detail there. Again, generic clip, and the Olloclip. And you can see some of the other details as well in the detail on the trees. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom out, and let's go to the next experiment here. The next lens we're going to take a look at is the fisheye lens. All right, so this is the fisheye lens. It's supposed to give a much wider field of view, and we're actually going to take a couple different kinds of pictures with this. One of the reasons is because I'm going to switch the aspect ratio of the camera phone from both rectangular to square, and so we can compare that. And take a look at the difference when you change the aspect ratio from rectangular to square. So let's try it with the sort of generic clip-on lens first and see how those pictures look. All right, now let's swap out the lenses and try the Olloclip fisheye lens. All right, next up we have the Olloclip fisheye lens. So again, it's using the different housing, but let's see how well this does in both, again, aspect ratios, both rectangular and the square aspect ratio. All right, so we did fisheye lens, both rectangular and square aspect ratio, both on the generic one and on the Olloclip. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pictures and see the difference in image quality. This is the generic fisheye, and you'll notice that we have even more field of view over here, because there's the door, and here's that tree, even more field of view over to the left, and then off to the right. This horrible vignetting that's the limit of the lens itself, which is why we're going to try a square format and just crop it to a square format and see how that looks. And then now let's take a look at the Olloclip fisheye. Big difference, right? You still have that outer periphery vignetting, but let's go back and forth between the two, and I'll just let you take a look at different areas. In particular, look at the edge here and the detail of objects along the edge. It's still distorted and it is still a little blurry, but let's take a look at the difference. Here is the Olloclip, and here is the generic $10 lens. Look off to the left, right here, off to the side of the building, and look at the detail there, and once again the Olloclip. Now the edges are still, again, distorted in the Olloclip, but let's take a look at the center area or around this general area over here, and that's what the Olloclip looks like. Pretty good, pretty sharp. Now let's take a look at the generic. That's really what it looks like. I mean, you can barely see any detail in there, and once again, back to the Olloclip. Once you zoom out, there's that. So let's take a look at what happens if you crop it to a square or 1:1 format. So this is the generic, and once again on the outside edge here, it's pretty. That's a huge triangle, that, and then a little bit of a triangle there, and that means that the lens is still vignetting it quite a bit. And again, the quality of the image hasn't changed. Now let's take a look at the Olloclip with the square format. And except for these little tiny triangles on the corners right here, and if you cropped it a little tighter, you couldn't tell that it was using an accessory lens. It's very wide angle, and again, if you zoom into some of this detail over here, quite acceptable for that lens. So the difference in quality between the generic and the Olloclip on the wide angle, and now the fisheye is pretty significant. All right, hope that helps. So far, we've taken a look at the wide angle, and we've taken a look at the fisheye on both the generic and the Olloclip, and notice quite a difference. Okay, and so the last test we're going to do today is macro test, close-up stuff, and for that our model today is going to be a US coin, a penny. And what we're going to do is try the macro lenses, and once again take a look at the quality of the macro lenses to see if there's any difference between the Olloclip, $80, and the generic lens kit clip for mobile phones, $10. So I got to tell you though, the generic sort of mobile phone thing is a little weird because I don't run into this very often. This has reverse threads on it. So you twist things one way and then you realize it's not screwing into it, you have to twist it the other way. There's not very many things that have reverse threads on them, but this one fooled me for a little while, but once I figured it out. So you tighten on the lens and you just keep tightening it, and then what happens is the wide angle actually comes off. See how that worked there? It actually came off, and now this alone is the macro. So we're going to put this on and take pictures to see how it looks. And once again, you put it onto the lens like that, and then we're going to get awfully close. I'm going to line it up again. So it's like that right now, and then we're going to get awfully close to this penny and take some pictures with it. Okay. The next lens we're going to look at, obviously, is the Olloclip. And this one is where you just basically unscrew these larger lenses, the wide angle and the fisheye, like that. And you now have two more lenses, and both of them are macro lenses. These are a 10x and a 15x macro. And once again, you just clip it on here like this. And once it's clipped on, then you can use it to shoot macro. So let's go ahead and take some shots with the Olloclip. First the 10x and then the 15x of this penny. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so now let's take a look at the macro lenses and their quality of images. Here we have the clip-on generic, and it's not bad. You can see, once again, I want you to pay attention to the words here, all right? And also maybe some of the detail around this area right there. I got to tell you before we move on that taking macro shots takes quite a bit of practice and patience. And the reason is because there's such a shallow depth of field that you really have to kind of fine-tune your movements and kind of tap on the area that you want in focus, and then just hold it as still as possible, and then gently tap the shutter button so that it takes the picture. I took a lot of pictures in order to get a few clear ones, but that's just how it is, any macro lens, because the depth of field is so shallow that just a slight movement, things get blurry. In fact, the depth of field is so shallow that the difference even between the letters on a penny, on a coin, is enough so that certain areas go blurry. But I selected the best examples of the lenses, and so that's what we're taking a look at. Once again, what we're looking at is the generic clip-on lens, and now let's take a look at the Olloclip right here. I'm going to go back and forth, and you can pick different areas to look at. If you look at the words and the texture around the words right around here, so look at that. It looks like we've got a little bit of maybe chromatic aberration or something right there, and right around there. So let's take a look around that "we" word, and you'll see the detail is much clearer on the Olloclip right here versus the generic one. And in fact, there is a piece of fuzz right there that is hard to make out on the generic one, where on the Olloclip it's an obvious piece of fuzz. Looking down at other areas, you'll see detail like on the hair and right about here. Again, this is the Olloclip, and this is the generic. Notice the detail right around here, these kind of scratches. Again, this is on the Olloclip, and this is on the generic clip-on. Those little scratches there. And yeah, just here on the generic, you'll notice that edge of the coin versus the Olloclip, where it's a little sharper. All right. Now the Olloclip has one more macro lens, and that's a 15x, and that brings things really close. And let's take a look at that. And the generic one does not have that extra boost. But you'll notice here, we get really close to that piece of fuzz. You can see the texture on the metal. Looks like Mr. Lincoln has a little bit of dandruff going on. And you can even see little tiny scratches, like almost microscopic little tiny scratches and other detail. One thing I would suggest, if you're going to do macro photography, make sure there's a lot of light on the subject. There was a lot of light when I took a picture of this one, but it takes quite a bit. And then try to hold it nice and steady, kind of brace your hand as you're taking the picture. But so there you go. We have some examples of the different kind of lenses. If you're really on a tight budget, you might want to think about the $10 generic sort of clip. Just go to Amazon.com and search for like iPhone or mobile phone lens clip, and you'll find it for around 10 bucks. But if you're looking for quality and you're looking for something that gives you a consistently good picture on several different things, both the color, the texture rendition, the lack of chromatic aberration, just the way that it just renders the entire image. They obviously spent a lot of time on Olloclip to make it worth your while, and certainly, in my opinion, worth the approximately $80 that you're going to be spending. Again, depending on the brand and the model of phone that you're getting, because they make them in different models and sizes and things like that. So take a look at the Olloclip. That would be my recommendation. It's got great contrast. The image quality is really nice, and it seems nice and sturdy as well. They've got this little kind of carrying clip that makes it easy for you to kind of carry around and have with you at all times. And that's the point of mobile photography. Have it with you at all times. When you think of something interesting that you want to take a picture of, you want to just be able to snap it on, take that great picture, and have it something that you're proud to share with other people. All right, that's going to be it for the review. Hopefully it was helpful, and hopefully you enjoyed it. For more reviews and information and other resources on how to take great pictures with your smartphone or compact camera, go to pocketlenses.com. Pocketlenses.com, and you can find lots of articles, video tutorials, and a podcast even about how to take great pictures with your smartphone or compact camera. All right, talk to you later.